weekly activity net. This net meets each Sunday at 1600 hours local time and is open to all amateur radio operators interested in emergency communications. The primary purpose of the net is to provide the opportunity for members to test equipment, exchange traffic, news, opinions and information, with additional information on the organisation available on the RAYNET-UK website at www.raynet-uk.net. This is a directed net, which means all calls are to be made to the net control station unless you're instructed otherwise, and all RAYNET-UK operators are invited and encouraged to check into the net. When you do check in, please announce your call sign slowly and phonetically, followed by your name, and if you wish to leave the net immediately after checking in, then please call in and out. Otherwise, if you want to leave after subsequent turns, then please make it clear you want to check out at that time. After I've heard a few check-ins, I'll repeat what I've heard. If you're not acknowledged, then please do try again, and if you miss your turn to call in, I will call for strays at the end of the UK and international sections. So, as usual, I'll start taking calls in call sign number order. So any stations with figure 9 in their call sign wishing to check into the net, please call now. This is G4 and RC. Mike 9, Mike Juliet Romeo. Mike 9, Mike Juliet Romeo, good afternoon Mike. Anybody else with a 9 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. Third, let's have the 8, stations figure 8 in their call sign, please go ahead, over.
Golf 8, Echo Yankee, G8 EEY. Good afternoon, Greg. Name here is Mike.
Fate Echo Yankee, good afternoon Mike. Any other 8s please, G4 and RC, over. Good, so we'll go for the 7, stations figure 7 in their call sign, please go ahead, over.
Golf 7 November Echo Hotel G7LEH. Good afternoon, Greg.
LEH, good afternoon Graham. Any other 7s please, G4 and RC, over. RC, nothing heard, so let's have 6s, stations figure 6 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. Good afternoon, this is Golf 6, Papa Delta Echo. In and out please, Greg. Papa Delta Echo, good afternoon Chris, copy to you in and out and happy new year to you. Any other 6s please, G4 and RC, over. Good, so let's have 5, stations figure 5 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. For RC, we don't have enough 5s in the organisation to cause a car crash, so let's go straight to 4s. Stations figure 4 in their call sign, please go ahead, over.
G4 and RC, G4KUJ, Trevor in Hertfordshire.
G4KUJ, good afternoon Trevor. Any other 4s please, G4 and RC, over.
G4KIL, Phillips, South Sussex.
Philip, good afternoon, G4KIL. Any other fours, please, because we normally have a rook of them. Any other fours, G4NRC, over. Think Hertz, let's have 3, stations figure 3 and their call sign, please go ahead, over.
Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray, Ian.
Zulu Hotel X-Ray, good afternoon, Ian. Any other 3s, please, G4NRC, over. For an RC, nothing heard, so let's have 2s, stations figure 2 in their call sign, including the remaining intermediate 2s. Please call now, over. Has anybody got blocked there? Any stations figure 2 in their call sign, including the intermediates? Please go ahead, over. Straight to the 1s. Stations figure 1 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. Second call, any stations figure 1 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. Let's go for Mike Zero stations of any regional secondary identifier. Please call now, over.
Mike 0 Juliet Sierra Alpha Island, East Suffolk. Hello, please, but Happy New Year to everybody.
Zero JSA, good afternoon, Happy New Year, Alan, and got you as in and out. Any Mike Zero stations, this is your explicit chance to call in of any regional secondary identifier, over. Nothing heard, so Golf Zero stations of any regional secondary identifier, please call now, over.
Golf Whiskey 0 Juliet Lima X-Ray. Good afternoon, Greg. Happy New Year to everybody. Name is Andy, RAYNET Pembrokeshire. Terribly chesty this afternoon, so definitely no traffic today. In and out, please. Over.
W0JLX, G4NRC. Good afternoon, Andy. Happy New Year to you. Thanks for your contribution to the HLAF list. I'll move that onto the website soon and copied you in and out. So, any UK stations who've missed their turn to call in, please call now, over.
Golf 0 Charlie Foxtrot Bravo, Richard, East Suffolk, RAYNET, in and out, Greg.
Good afternoon, Richard. Golf 0 Charlie Foxtrot Bravo. Happy New Year to you, and copied you in and out. Right, do we have any of our international colleagues on talk groups today? That's usually Nord-Samband of Norway, Aaron in Ireland, Aries in Slovakia. Any of our international colleagues today, please? G4NRC, over.
Lima Alpha 6 in your mic. Name is Hans. Happy New Year to each and every one of you. Else, in and out, Greg.
Email for 6 India Mike. Good afternoon, Hans, and Happy New Year. Thanks for the emails over the holidays. Just scribble a date in your diary that you're in and out for, I think it's the 17th of January as the Saturday that we're likely to have a meeting. Okay, any stations, UK or international, who've missed their turn to call in, please call now, over.
Mike 7 Victor Sierra.
Delta, 21% packet loss on the Brandmeister side of things. Couldn't tell whether you were in and out or not. It was very broken. Just confirm you're staying with me, over.
Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, in and out this week, currently in the middle of doing tip runs. In and out, over.
Sierra Delta, thanks for the confirmation. Happy New Year and copy to you in and out. Okay. Right, Graham, G7NEH is live streaming the net to YouTube today. Past live streams and recordings are available by searching G7NEH, that's Golf 7 November Echo Hotel on YouTube. And if you will mash the like and subscribe buttons appropriately, it is appreciated so he knows how valuable the service is. It's a time-constrained net today, so finishing around 1640 to 1645 would be appreciated, since I've got to get 10 miles a little bit north in alternating sleet and snow. And then we have what little news we have after a bit of a hiatus. So it's a new year, and that means some people come up with some new initiatives. The new year started with a piece in the Daily Telegraph that G4KUJ pointed out to me, reporting that Starlink could be woven into the forthcoming emergency services network, which is replacing Airwave. Given that ESN was going to be reliant on mobile phone networks for delivery, and mobile phone networks have great difficulty in achieving the 99.9% land coverage required, having a satellite to ground link may be a way out of the problem. But there's competition from AST Space Mobile. Yes, that's the company who caused controversy, having their satellites operate in 70 centimetres for control purposes in emergencies. They're establishing their own service for the rest of Europe, with an expected start of service this year and a clear intent to serve the emergency communications market from a network operations centre they're already building out in Germany. Given there are already problems with satellite-to-ground authorisations in areas close to other administrations, like the South Coast and Northern Ireland, it'll remain to be seen whether the coverage hotspots are truly eliminated when we have two satellite operators competing for the same markets. So let's see what thoughts that provokes from people this week, starting with Mike. Mike 9, Mike Juliet Romeo, Golf G4 and RC, over.
About 9, Mike Juliet Romeo, good afternoon, Happy New Year to everybody that's on the net. Not a lot to say from quite a white Aberdeenshire. No real action for us up here. I think our co-tag 4x4 friends have been out in spades, travelling, taking people around and digging cars out. But we're up to about 18 inches of snow in places at the moment up here. Not a lot more to add other than the weather report.
Mike 9, Mike Juliet Romeo, G4 and RC. Not a problem. That's more information that I needed anyway, so thanks. 8 inches of snow. I was wondering how bad it was going to get up there. The forecast do seem to have been pasting the east coast more than anything else. It's very on and off here in Cheshire, bordering North Wales, so we'll just see how much mayhem it causes tomorrow when people discover what a snowflake really looks like. Okay, let's go to Mike, Golf 8 Echo Yankee, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC from G8 DEY. Yes, Happy New Year, everybody on the net. Well, currently in Norfolk we're at minus 0.5 centigrade. Have been most of the day. 1,010 millibars. 77% relative humidity and 0% cloud cover. And there's still an 18 mile an hour breeze from 258 degrees, but didn't feel like it when I went out. Yeah, we got hit with probably a maximum of about 1.5 to 2 inches of snow. Temperatures down to minus 4 centigrade quite often, a couple of days, and with it going not above zero all day. Yeah, not exactly like the beast from the east, and doesn't seem to have had too much effect. So I've called it the pest from the west, as it's coming from that sort of direction generally. Yeah, next NRF meeting, I've actually had some contact from the LRF, and it's in February, so we'll see what happens. They haven't defined a date yet. But one thing that came out of two-factor experiments with mobile phones and things like that, I've actually achieved getting the Samsung on the Windows desktop. So I could actually have the Norfolk VFCG WhatsApp up there as well, which I've been watching. And I can see that 4x4 have been keeping an eye out, but no call at all for any support needed. So that's about it for the first round from me. So back to Greg. Over.
8 Echo Echo Yankee G4 and RC returning. Okay, well, yes, I've gone through some of the two-factor stuff I needed to sort out and trying to sort out encryption keys and things. Not quite finished, just a voyage of discovery of housekeeping I haven't really done. Your 4x4 might be activated. I think off memory, Facebook today told me that our Lowland Search and Rescue just did a team photograph wishing everybody a Happy New Year. So no known mobilisations yet in this area, but we do seem to be missing it. Winds predominantly from the north, and the Pennines are doing their shielding duty for Cheshire this time rather than having to rely on North Wales. Okay, thanks Mike. I'm sure there's more for you in the next round. Graham, how many views have we got? Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC, G798. Jack, good afternoon Greg, good afternoon to all on the net. Trust everybody had a pleasant Christmas and wish you all the best for the new year. Viewership on the last net, which was a couple of weeks ago, was 17 views and 2 likes, so quite down on previous nets. So conditions here today, as Greg says, we've had a scattering of snow, not too much. The temperature went down to about -5.2 last night, according to my weather station, and we are sitting at 0.5 degrees centigrade now, with some cloud cover, so we may get some more snow or something tonight, I don't know. We'll see what it's like when I wake up at 5:45 tomorrow morning to head out to work. Wind speed is around 2.9 mile an hour with gusts at 3.1. So yeah, I'll give you a viewership of today's net later on the second round. So back to Greg. G4 NRC, G798.
G798, G4 and RC returning. Okay, thanks Graham. Yes, I think as we're seeing slightly reduced numbers participating today on the net, although we have more connected peers than usual. Yeah, I think people are just getting into that Christmas or post-Christmas New Year mode now of, oh dear, tomorrow is definitely the first day back in work for most people. Some hardy souls were out on Friday, but wasn't me, so I've got to go through the culture shock again myself tomorrow. When we get round to the next round, it'll be how many people completed all the Christmas projects they set for themselves before the holidays. I'm equally suspecting it's not going to be very many of us. That list just didn't go down with new toys being added to the pile. Okay, thanks Graham, thanks for streaming. Trevor, G4KUJ, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC and the group, G4KUJ. Yes, good afternoon Greg and everybody else, and good wishes for 2026. Your last point, I didn't complete any projects over the holiday period because I didn't have any. We were away over Christmas for a week up in North Norfolk, which was a very nice break. And since I've been back, I've really been doing sort of end of year paperwork and that sort of thing. Cold down here, sprinkling of snow yesterday, but nothing to speak of. But it's only disappeared where the sun's been on it. Took the portable digital station up to Norfolk and plugged it into the Wi-Fi, and it just fired up and gave me Arden and DMR with no problems, so that's good. And finally noted about the 17th of Jan, Greg. So back to you, G4NRC, G4KUJ.
G4KUJ, G4NRC returning. Yes, I'm glad you noted that as well, without the explicit call out. I know South Africa is having its peak event season at the moment, so I've had to dance the date around their many events as they do public service while we do Snowwatch. Glad the Arden network worked. Something I didn't get to play with, but people will know this is a sideline hobby horse of mine. The 44net, or the amateur radio digital communications block of addresses, IP addresses in the 44net range, apparently now has a new way of accessing the system via a VPN-style connection, which should open up access to the 44net to a lot more people. And if we do it right, will allow people to have their own amateur radio IP addresses for use on air and to interlink with each other in a variety of circumstances and scenarios without having IP address clashes, which is always the worry with Arden trying to squeeze everything into the 10 dot range. Okay, thanks Trevor. Philip, G4KIL, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G4KL. Thanks, Greg. As you know, I managed to get on the, both the DataNet on last Sunday, albeit it was from a /A location. I was with my sister and brother-in-law, who was on a farm near in Ivor, sort of near Slough. So there's plenty of space there, but I just slung a 20-metre thin bit of wire out the window, and that's why I just have the FT817, which is why it was just 5 watts. So I was quite pleased with with how that worked out. And then again on the first, the report from that one, so I won't reiterate it again. Worthwhile net, but some difficulties with it. Unfortunately, I'm not likely to make HF for the rest of this month because that will be Wednesdays, and I'm generally busy Wednesday evenings. In terms of projects, main ones from my point of view, we're getting some wardrobe and shelves rebuilt in a spare room. That's worked out quite well, but not radio projects. One of our local RAYNET people has been having a go with he says free DV, using a kit he built for a project for Practical Wireless. And he seems very impressed with it. He said also any HF radio will work fine. So anyway, 1 or 2 comments saying they thought that sounded useful. Any comments on that, I suppose, would be interesting to hear. Apart from that, that's probably it from me for the moment. I'll let you all go around. G4GNC, G4KL.
G4NRC returning. Okay, yes, I keep looking at the 3DV stuff. I think it will work down to signal to noise levels way below what normal single sideband would work at. And of course, since the speech is digitally regenerated, there's no background noise and everything sounds fairly good. So yes, it's enjoying a bit of a renaissance. I think there is a parallel free data which is also available to shift data streams. Just not sure it's very back and forth for the kind of stuff we might do, but this is all part of the learning. But of course, for me to get anywhere near free DV, I have to find a Pi that wants to play at the moment, even though he all seems to find other duties or hide on this desk. But yes, one day it will get trialled. Okay, Ian, Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray gets to round out this turn. G4NRC, over.
Tail and Charlie again. G3ZHX here. Happy New Year to everybody on the net. And regarding weather, if you're interested, here in Aylesbury, there was something on the ground when I got up this morning. What I can't tell is whether it was a hard frost or snow, and it's nearly all gone now, except where stuff stayed in the shade during the day. And the temperature was about 1 Celsius when I got up, climbed to 3.5. I think it's down to about 2 now. So it's not exactly tropical, but it could be worse. You were saying there were more pairs on the net, coupled with a question about Christmas projects. I wonder if these appeared under the Christmas tree for some people. My own Christmas project started when I decided to come to grips with KiCad. And I got the book for it, which was KiCad version 6, and I see it's now up to version 9, and I'm still not a lot wiser, but I've been doing some Linux programming in the meantime. And a thought, 44net will dish out, or would dish out, I used to have one, they seem to have deleted it, would dish out unique IP addresses, and I wonder if we could use that as the basis for the Ireland telephone numbers. Just something to think about. And finally, a query, if I may be so bold. This radio, which is a Tira 380, it has a very loud Roger bleep, which I cannot disable or turn down the volume of. And I had assumed that everybody using DMR would have had the same, particularly since it sort of became popular when PMR 446 came out. As a result, I very rarely use the word over when I'm working on this net. I will do after this particular over. That wasn't it. I will do after this particular conversation, just to make the point, but I just wonder what other people feel about not saying the word after a transmission. And with that, I will hand it back to you, Greg. This is G3ZHX, over.
Three Zulu Hotel X-Ray, G4NRC returning. Well, none of your transmissions I've ever recalled, including that one, ever included a Roger beep at the end. So it's purely for the annoyance of the local user and doesn't come out over the main net. Generally, because I'm half cheating, I hear the click as the audio stops, which still exists even digitally. And I can see the call sign disappear off screen, so if my screen drops back to looking normal, I know that everything is reset and I can transmit again. So that's the Roger bleep dealt with. Unique IP addresses, could they be telephone numbers? No, not necessarily. I'm going to remind people to go back through RayLinks, where the talk group numbering system we have of 50 and then your group number and then up to 99 local talk groups for your group was intended to be extensible. So, for example, 51 and then your group number and then 99 0 to 99 would be your telephone numbers, and it's kept us away from any legalities and miscommunications about people thinking they were using a real telephone number. Having a unique IP address, though, is helpful because of the system I want to try and deploy, where you use an effective domain name service to take that 51NNNX number and turn it into an IP address, which needs to be unique, and then you can indeed have phone-to-phone calls without the need for an intermediate exchange, because that's always been my worry with some of the implementations of telephony over some of the amateur networks, that it depends on having a central asterisk server rather than just acting as a phone book and letting connections go as point to point as they can. But I'm sure you might have some more thoughts on that on the next round. Okay, let's go back to the top, take any final thoughts and finals. Mike having won the snow battle for today. Mike 0, Mike Juliet Romeo, G4 and RC, over. Mike 0, Mike Juliet Romeo, you still in the G4 and RC, over. Mike 0, Mike Juliet Romeo, nothing heard. I'll try and call again at the very end. Of the other Mike Golf 8 Echo Yankee, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC from GAEEY. Project's finished over Christmas. Well, I must have, some time ago, I made 3 portable radio setups that can be carried around or mounted in one box, radio power supply, bits and pieces, microphones and so on. So I thought I'd get 3 eye on a pole 10-metre masts from the continent, mostly carbon fibre with aluminium fittings, quite nice. They shut down to 2.1 metres or thereabouts. So I've been doing all the business of putting bags together so that each goes in what is basically a fishing rod bag with an antenna, and another bag with complete sets of guy kits which I've made up. And I got round the feeder spool business by buying 3 how shall we say, wheelbarrow wheels, plastic ones, off the wonderful Amazon site, and disposing of things like tube and spokes of the wheels, and they make quite nice spools to carry 12 metres of cable, so that protects the cables. I've always had a problem with VPNs because the maximum bandwidth on internet here is the point where it can slow you down a lot. Because I found at the time when I tried it, there was more than 50% of the data rate was the overheads for the VPN. So I've tended not to use them. But that's about it. Thanks for running the net, Greg. I won't waffle on any longer. So from G8EEY, over.
8 Echo Yankee, G4 NRC returning. Yes, this is an interesting one. So VPNs, the commercial ones, to obfuscate the text to make it look like it's not a VPN, are now having to put, as you say, quite a lot of padding in to mask the underlying traffic. So yeah, I get the point for that. But I don't think 44net, since it's American-based and can have a loose relationship with encryption as a result, I don't think it's quite that bad, but still to investigate it, because I still wanted to make my, if you like, inverted commas, proper 44net connection work without having to resort to using a VPN. So that was the project I didn't get to over Christmas. The connected peers, mentioned earlier, just looking, noting that Mike Juliet Romeo is not with us. We had 77 connected hotspots. It's now dropped to 75, and it's up from the 68 or so we had pre-Christmas. So some of it might be new, some maybe not. And I like the wheelbarrow wheel trick, by the way. That's something that might be worth a photograph and sticking as a short into Raylink, whatever we're calling it today. Okay, thanks, Mike. Let's go to Graham and see if we've got any YouTube feedback. G7NEH, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC, G7NEH. Yeah, okay, so this week's viewing figures up to now, we've had 14 views, and concurrently there are 3 people viewing. Average view time is around 5 minutes 20. Yeah, not a lot else to add from this end. Christmas projects, well, I've been battling with a 3D printer, as you know, for the past week or so. Made some inroads. I'll no doubt give you a call in the week and let you know what's gone on. So yeah, and I'm doing 3-day weeks throughout January, just to use up some holidays. So I will be around to add from this end. Thanks for doing the net, Greg, and we'll catch you in the week. G4NRC, G7NEH.
G7NEH, G4NRC. Okay, thanks for the scheduling stuff, Graham. That's interesting. Next week is my final full week of work. Everything after that is going to be 3 or 4 day weeks. Given most people take the Friday off to have a long weekend, I'm being awkward and taking Mondays off, so we have a bit of overlap, but it'll be Mondays and Fridays for me going forward, so we'll have to see what overlap we've got and how we can get some things sorted out. Okay, thanks Graham, thanks for doing the streaming, and Trevor for a final. G4KUJ, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G4KUJ. A couple of comments noted about 44net, I'll have a look at that. And 3DV. Tried that many years ago when we first got 60 metres in its early days, and did lots of tests on 60 with Peter, G3PLX. Of PSK 31 fame, and it really was impressive, and I guess it's come on a long way since then, and I was looking at it the other day and was certainly thinking of downloading it and see or having a listen on the various frequencies that are mentioned, and see if it's still see how it works. Okay, nothing further. Hopefully we'll catch up sometime in the near future. Greg, I think we've got 1 or 2 things to tie the ribbons on, haven't we? G4NRC, thanks for running the vet. G4KUJ.
For KUJ, G4NRC, yes, I haven't done the annual let's copy all the to-do list from last year through into this year yet, because that's usually how New Year depression starts, and look at everything that didn't get done. But yes, there are things that I know are on my conscience that I've got to get questions answered on to close some things out, so I'll do it probably in between times work this week. Okay, interesting. Let me know if you do have a go at the 44net. I'll see what I can do with the system here. I got it to the point where I could talk to the router that will act as the 44net gateway. Still struggling to make it hold a connection with the central service though, which is my problem last time round. Okay, 2 to go, so it's Philip next. Note at the HF through the rest of the month. But also your working arrangements on HF 5 watts and 20 metres of wire worked wonderfully, especially when we used the right tool like JSA call. G4KIL, G4NRC, over.
Yeah, G4NRC, G4KIL. Yep, all very good. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even mention about snow, probably because there isn't any here. I don't think we've seen any at all, but I think it's probably above freezing here now. When I looked on the published weather forecast, it sort of said low -2 plus 2, I think, or something like that. So being down on the south coast and near the sea, we don't get the joys in quotes of the snow there. Interesting on the comments on 3DV. Thanks to those who are there, and that sounds like it's something worth looking at. That's probably it, I think, from me. So I know you want to get away, so hopefully be up next week. 373's all, and I do have JS8 running quite a bit with low power, albeit from my the flat these days. So quite often see the Surrey people, I think, around on it. But so that one is sort of around. But apart from that, on HF won't be much the next month. Very good to G4NRC, G4KL, just signing and listening to the internet.
Finger trouble my ends. G4KIL, G4NRC. Yes, one of my small successes over the Christmas period was trying to figure out the data connection from the computer to the true SDX cheap and cheerful HF radio with 5 watts out. learned a bit about that. I'd be happier leaving a £100 radio working continuously on data rather than having to commit an FT817 or something to it. So just need the space, which also requires a tidy up. But also note it down, so I will make a point of trying to check out 40 metres JS8 call when I get opportunities and see if I can work you. Ian is next, and you mentioned KiCad. I think FreeCAD is what I was looking at, but I think I need to learn both of them. If nothing else, it's for house projects. So Graham's also been dealing with FreeCAD, I think. So we could probably have a separate CAD chat on the DMR systems if we needed to. G3ZHX, G4 and RC over.
G4 RC in the group, G3ZHX. Yeah, KiCad, I've just picked it more or less at random because there was a set of books available from Elector as a tutorial. Unfortunately, part of my problem has been that they issue a new version at the beginning of the year, and within a few weeks of me starting my project, they'd already gone on to the next version, and things that should have been separately bundled had been built into the menus, and it took me a while to find that out because I couldn't find them on the menus I had, and oh dear, whatever. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, I've been using No IP for some years. It's quite good, provided you stay on top of it. I went sailing for a fortnight once, and by the time I got back, I found that my account had expired the day I sailed, and I'd been out of touch, and during the interval they'd completely stopped it. It took several months before I could get it back again. But that's just one of those things. As I say, you just have to stay on top. And with that, I'll say thanks for running the net, Greg, and Happy New Year to everybody. I think I already said that. And this is G3ZHX going back to standby.
ZHX, G4 and RC. Yes, I can't say I'm overly struggling with version creep, because looking at FreeCAD, it took about 15 years, I think, to make it to version 1, which was the big fanfare of last year that it had actually get to its first stable version. But yeah, my problem is finding enough bolt-ons to do what I want to do. The basic package seems a little bit too basic, and I know there's parts libraries out there, I just can't see how to integrate them yet. It will be easy, it just requires time. Okay, No IP, you mentioned. The concept of using DNS for phone number lookups, I've already mentioned on Net previously, is being used by our Austrian colleagues. And because it's a domain name service, it will do No IP style addresses as well. So it doesn't have to have a fixed IP address. It just needs to be sure that when you put that pseudo phone number in, that it maps to an offending IP device which identifies as a phone. So there may be something we'll get sorted this year as we go. Right, we're hitting my timeline, so I'll thank everybody for taking time out of your schedules to participate this afternoon in the net. Be careful, have a good week, and until next Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time, I will close the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net on talk groups 23531 on Pheonix and Brandmeister and 50233531 on the RAYNET-UK system, and return the network to being an open net rather than a directed net. 730, this is G4 and RC now closing, and reverting to my normal call sign of G0 DUB. Bye bye.